Hi everyone, I'm here to do my video blog for Module 3, and I'd like to start with talking about the questions I chose to use for my interview. I chose to ask 6 questions, and the first one is, what technology do you use most often in your classroom for teaching and why? What technologies do your students use most often in your classroom for learning and why? What percentage of your lessons integrate technology? Do you provide your students choices for using differentiated technologies to do their classwork? And how do you ensure that students stay on task and are not distracted by the technology? As well as, how do you make sure that they are using safe technology? I interviewed a ninth grade teacher and a fifth grade teacher. And both of them had some very interesting things to say about using technology in the classroom. But my takeaway was that the important thing to do when considering using technology in the classroom is to differentiate between the technology which is used for organizing and enabling collaboration between students and teachers, and the technology that's enhancing or in addition to the normal learning that you're doing in the classroom. For example, organizing and collaboration would be things like using Google Docs, the emails, search engines. Those are things to help a teacher and also sometimes help students stay connected, and they can do collaborative work on Google Docs, as well as then the opposite of that, which would be the teaching technology, which would be something like Mathletics for math learning or RazKids for reading learning. So those were the differentiation, the way the teachers differentiated between the two technologies that are used in the classroom. There were some discussions about how to keep the students on task. I think this is also an interesting discussion regarding different ways to make sure the teacher can follow the students in what they're doing. So one teacher chooses to use Classroom, which is an application that allows the teacher to see what students are doing on their iPads, as well as just provide that app to be opened on the iPad when there's certain work happening in the classroom. So the students can't go off and do something else like go onto the browser or be reading something. They have to stay on task because the only app available on the iPad at the time is the one the teacher allows. The other option was to do collaborative work in class in real time, which I thought was interesting. The project is being beamed onto the classroom projector, and then you can see in real time what students are contributing and how they're doing their work. Now I'd like to discuss the lesson plan that was shared with me by the fifth grade teacher. And this lesson plan is a couple day lesson plan that's embedded in a larger unit of inquiry that is looking into environments. In this lesson, we're looking at the tropical environment, but it could be used for actually any type of environment. And the children are asked to research a particular animal and give a presentation on that animal with the research they found. In this case, the lesson employs 3 different uses of technology. The first use of technology is Pebble Go, which is a research app. So the children can go on that. It's known to be safe and secure for children, and they can research their animal and their topic and where the animal lives, the environment. Then they take that information, and in pairs they collaboratively create a mind map in Poplet Lite. And from Poplet Lite and their mind map, they go into ChatterPix. And in ChatterPix, they're able to animate the animal that they've researched and have this animal talk and give the information about themselves via this animated animal. It's very engaging for the students. The students love it, and they get to record their own voices, which is also very fun for them. I think it's a great way to do research and presentation skills, and I think that it gives the children also another option when they can choose how to do some of their presenting in the future. I would say that it can be differentiated, and it might be nice if then there is an option for maybe the students, as in our case, we have many that struggle with English sometimes, that they're maybe allowed to do a similar video but in their mother tongue, and maybe they work with a partner who has English as a mother tongue, and so they create either two videos, one with the animal speaking in the mother tongue language and one that then speaks in English. But I do believe that this lesson plan can be modified to differentiate for students with different needs. So, after looking at the interview responses and looking at a lesson plan, one of our tasks was to create a checklist for when we would like to introduce technology into our lessons. And so my top five checklist questions would be, is the tech safe to use and appropriate for your grade level? I think this is very important to make sure that whatever tech you're using makes sense for the students you're using for. Some technology is not appropriate for young kids, and some tech becomes annoying for the older kids because it's too young or not interesting for them. And of course, the tech needs to be safe. And this lesson plan that we discussed was meet this criteria. The next is the tech user friendly? Will the students be able to understand the task quickly? And in fact, the students, with the report from the teacher, said that when they did this lesson, they thought it might take a long learning curve, but of course the students quickly learned how to use all of the applications that they were asked to learn, and they had no issues with the children struggling at all with the technology. So does the technology support differentiated or personalized learning? And I do believe that that is the case because the kids were free to use their own creativity to create this presentation that then was shown to their fellow students. So I do believe that there were a variety of ways of approaching this, and the students all had the freedom to do it the way that it worked for them. Will it enhance the learning experience for the student? I believe absolutely. I think this would be, even looking back on when I needed to do presentations and it was written and I had to stand and I try not to read it and memorize. I think this is a great way to get the students engaged in a research and presentation project. And the last one is, does the task meet the ISTE standards towards teaching integration for this appropriate grade? And it absolutely did. It met 5 of the 7 criteria, which I think for one lesson plan is rather great. So this is my findings for this unit, and I found it very interesting, and I did get quite a bit of interesting feedback from teachers, and just having conversations with people who are in the classroom, I feel is a great benefit for learning what our best practices are. So look forward to the next unit. Thank you.